In the last video, I picked up this abandoned car. A 3.2 litre V6 Audi TT. And pretty much all of you seem to love the car in the comments. However, there are two pretty big issues with this car. Number one being it's actually an MOT failed car, and the list of failures and advisories is as long as this willy, and it's pretty long.
A good solid 3 inches.
And the second issue is we've got a pretty rattly engine. If we actually start the car, if it starts, if we come out, we can hear it's a little rattly. My engine has this dream of being reincarnated as a rattlesnake. That's why it rattles. And that right there is a big problem.
You want a bit more ketchup?
Yes, please, I would love Okay, my hot dog's ready. When I actually start the car, it sounds orgasmic. But the problem lies inside the engine. It doesn't sound the healthiest. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. But that right there is a massive, massive, massive problem that I don't think I really understand how big of a deal that is, because so many of you guys were commenting that it could indicate a timing chain rattle. Which is an engine out job. A timing chain is an element of the engine that keeps everything moving, opening and closing at the right time so everything runs smoothly. Over time, the chain or its components can become worn, which leads to a loose chain, which can lead to catastrophic damage if not addressed. Doosh! Shoot me now. I don't think I quite understand what I got myself into, but
Hey!
I'm kind of used to making stupid decisions at this point. But just like everything, that sounds like a later problem. For right now though, this car hasn't even got an MOT, so the main goal of today's video is getting this car passed through an MOT with flying colours and back on the UK roads legally. First job we got to do is take this wheel off. And the first MOT failure we're addressing is this front pin or bushing excessively corroded, I think the MOT failure was, and I believe it is this bushing right here. To get it off, we've got a nut and a bolt on the left side, one bolt right there, which turned out to be a nightmare to take out, and 3 bolts right here, which are nice and simple to get to, The first bolt I've touched on this Audi TT snapped. Second bolt with no pressure. 2 of 3 bolts have snapped. Let's see if this one snaps as well. Row the boat, down the stream. Oh, that's the first bolt that didn't snap. With a little bit of Asian persuasion with a blowtorch, we could then take out this nut and bolt using a wrench on the top and an impact on the bottom. And to access the last bolt for the lower control arm, we actually had to take off the under tray, annoyingly. Here I am at fucking 12 PM, kicking a fucking bolt off because it's been a stubborn bastard. But unfortunately, the Germans had to make it a little bit more difficult because they knew an Asian boy would be sat in his driveway raging at this design flaw. This is proper confusing me, right? This is the lower control arm bushing right here, but there's the bolt and there's the engine. So how do I get that bolt out if there's an engine right there? So I literally have to drop the subframe to simply get that one bolt out. Germany. What are you doing, mate? After loosening the subframe bolts, we got enough access to slide the bolt out. Ooh. And then it was a simple case of prying that lower control arm out, ready to put in the brand new one. God. What a
fucking faff that was.
So we have finally got the old lower control arm out right now, and we've got the new one right next to it. And pretty much these bushings are usually very, very stiff, but over time they deteriorate and then eventually cause too much excessive movement. So you might hit a pothole and then bounce over the road because a bushing might have gone.
Which is not good, it's dangerous.
Bear in mind these bushes control the movement of a 1.4 ton car. And look how easy this moves with my puny little lady hands. Quite a lot of movement in that. Look at that. Jeez. Quite a lot of movement in that one. And then here's the new one. I mean, barely any movement whatsoever. So we'll chuck in the new lower control arm, and then that will be one MOT failure completed. After getting the lower control arm back in place, we could then work on tightening up the two subframe bolts. Then we had a nut and a bolt on the other side. And the last thing to do was connect up the ball joint to the lower control arm with these 3 bolts. And then after preloading the suspension, we can torque everything down to spec. So the first job cost us £62.62. So the Audi TT has actually finally got its right arm back. So if we actually come into the wheel arch, we can see that there is the new bushing, baby. It's looking nice. It's got a little bit of purple on. Limited edition control arm, this is, mate. And now with the first MOT failure completed, while we have the car jacked up on the driver's side, I thought I'd address the next little job. And this is actually the brake hose that we're going to be addressing right now. It's got a little bit of damage to it, not much, just looks like somebody got a bit hungry. So although it's an MOT advisory, we picked up a new brake line for £19 because it's all good gapping people at the red light. But if you can't brake before that roundabout, you better start singing, I'm flying in the air. This brake line transmits brake fluid from the master cylinder to the brake caliper, where the pistons will squeeze the pads to the disc, causing the car to stop. Now, if this damage gets any larger, we could have a loss of hydraulic pressure, which means the brakes could be less effective or could completely stop working. So to change this over, it's pretty simple. We just had to take off this retaining clip, take off the brake line, wiggle it out, and then take off another retaining clip where we could release the brake line again. God, this is the most boring explanation I've ever done. Just watch the fucking video. You can see exactly what I don't even need to commentate this because well, hopefully you can see what I'm doing right now. But anyway. And that right there is the brake line and lower control arm. All done. So now it's time to start playing the dramatic music because we are getting onto the serious failures of this Audi TT that is going to take potentially the next week to sort out. And the next 2 failures are going to require some specialist tools and skill to fix. We have got both headlamps aimed too low. Now, of course, on most cars these days, you have automatic adjusters so you can raise and lower the headlamps from inside using a dial. But for this 2003 Audi TT, we make manual adjustments using these 2 screws in the headlights. 1 hole for up and down and 1 hole for left and right. Now, I'm completely winging this because I don't know how high to put them, but unless the MOT tester is a sausage pot, even if they are too low in the test, they should raise them for us. So now that is 2 of the MOT failures addressed, and we are left with just 1 more to get this back on road.
Are you ready?
But the last MOT failure is actually supplementary restraint system warning lamp indicates a fault, which sounds pretty scary. And this failure is because there is a airbag light on the dash on my car, which indicates a problem with the airbag system. And as soon as an MOT tester sees that light on the dash, they're going to go, yep, you know what? Pass that, mate. We're just going to ignore that bright red airbag light on the dash, and we're just going to continue with the test. And not to mention, we've also got a check engine light we've got to sort out on the dash, which would again be an instant MOT failure. Sick. Now, to understand Chinese, you got to ask a Chinese person. And to understand this airbag, we're going to have to use a specialist diagnostic tool, which will tell us exactly where the fault is coming from. We have actually got a fault code coming back from the airbag. Code 65535. Control module faulty. If we actually search it on the device, possible causes could be wiring from or to control module faulty, or it could be the control module itself that is faulty. So we found our problem, now it's time to fix it before the MOT. So we can finally get this car back on road. I can't wait. The control module is actually the brains of the car's safety system, from the airbags, the seatbelt pretensioners. According to the light on the dash, there's a problem with this brain. So if we get into an accident without fixing this, it's straight to the gulag. So I quite like life, if you don't quite know. I'm quite a happy geezer. So currently what we're doing is we're stripping apart the center console to gain access to this module to assess what exactly has gone wrong with it. Let's take some out. So we've stripped apart the whole center console, and we can actually see right down there, it's actually the airbag control module, simply being held in by 3 bolts. Then hopefully we can take it out and either replace it or ship it off to get recoded, depending on what exactly is wrong. Brother, look how I'm getting this last bolt out. I look like I've just pulled over for a bum, mate. Now, one of the solutions to fix this problem is to ship this module out to a specialist to reset and wipe any errors on the device. So I'm shipping this off for £79 to a company up in Liverpool, and hopefully when it comes back, we're not going to have an airbag light on the dash. But knowing my flipping luck, we're going to have an airbag light and an EPC light and an airbag light and a traction light. But all I can do until then is pray. And also fix this check engine light. Now, if we actually read into the check engine light using the device, we can actually see that one of the O2 sensors has decided to wake up on a Wednesday morning and be a fucking big
Juicy.
We actually have O2 sensor, bank 2, sensor 2, no signal / communication. Now, as this car is actually a V6, bank 2 is the O2 sensor measuring the right side of the engine, and bank 1 is measuring the left side. So we will be actually changing the right side of the oxygen sensor, and we will be changing sensor 2, which is the oxygen sensor, after the catalytic converters. So yeah, we're gonna have to get under the car, roll around on the floor like a flipping dog. It's my favorite thing to do, honestly. My favorite thing to do. Oh, love it. Absolutely love rolling around on the floor. I'd rather do this than shag Britney Spears. Oh, I'm just so bubbly and happy right now. Happily. What we're going to do is take out that old sensor and replace it with a brand new one, and see if the ECU starts receiving signal, which will hopefully make that check engine light go away, so we can finally get this car through an MOT. And right here is the old O2 sensor, old lumbar sensor, new lumbar sensor. What was that? Little did you know, you subscribed to a psychopath. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. We then slid back under the car, put the lumbar sensor in place, and it was time to tighten this bitch up. As tight as I can fucking get it. That's it, son of a bitch. This is great fun, you know. Great fun. I'm having a whale of a time. Can you not hear the sarcasm in my voice? Last thing to do was plug the clip in and mount the electrical housing back in place. And as simple as that, we had a new lumbar sensor all connected up. So I think there's one thing left to do, and that is to start the car. Still a check engine light. Is it going to go? We still have a check engine light, but it could go. It could go because it's maybe still sensing. Maybe it's just introducing itself to each other. Hi, I'm the new lumbar sensor. Hi, I'm the Audi TT that you're going to be sat inside for the next 5 years. Come on. I think we still got a check engine light. I think we still got it. Right, I've just used the device to clear all the codes. The check engine light's gone, but we are going to have to take it to see if it comes back on, because check engine lights do come back on. But yeah, other than that, we've got error codes for the airbag control module missing and the brake pump activation, and that is because we need to bleed the system. So Right now, we're all good. There's no check engine light. So we have cleared the fault codes and we are just going to have to wait and see if it comes back on our first drive. And just watch our luck. I'm guaranteeing it's going to come back just before the MOT.
Now in today's video, we fought with subframes laying on my back. We've bent over in questionable positions to change airbag control modules. And typically with cars, there's always something else to fix. And this Audi TT is no exception because the brakes are actually braking a bit too much. So we've got a new brake caliper to fit.
And as most of you know, working on your car is extremely energy consuming. And usually halfway through the job, I'm reaching for some energy.
And that is why I always keep Holy in my inventory to power me through any job. Let's change these brakes.
Holy is soft drinks revolutionized.
Holy is a lot healthier than traditional energy drinks. It's got no sugar, natural fruit flavors and colors, and not to mention it tastes delicious. I mean, this Halloween edition literally tastes like I'm taking a succulent, scrumptious bite out of the sweetest tangerine. Oh, it glows in the dark as well. What? Look at this, it glows in the dark. Cool. And talking about Halloween, they got 4 new flavors, including tangerine tarantula, pomegranate piranha, cherry cheetah, and blood orange bat. And you can purchase each of these flavors as a bundle, which includes a 1-liter thermo shaker. Ooh. The convenience and practicality of Holy is one of my favourite things. Instead of driving to my local petrol station to go get an energy drink, quite simply 500 millilitres of water, 1 scoop of Holy, and we're ready to go. Now, if you want to get started and try Holy today, including their little Halloween flavors, click the top link of my description and use my discount code OtherStuff5 for £5 off with a minimum order value of £14.99, or my discount code OtherStuff for 10% off your purchase. And after drinking my Holy, it's time to get to work. Let's go!
All right then, so we've just had this in the parcel. Parcel in the package, in the post. Some people are out here speaking 7 different languages fluently, and I can't even speak one. But we have actually got, you moved. We have actually got this package. You moved again, mate. We have got this package right here, which is actually our ECU or control module that we sent off. And this right here is a bit like sending your kid off to boarding school, and when they come back, it's a different kid.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, there we have it. So I sent my control module off to get reset and recoded and clear all fault codes on there. And when I actually sent it off and they did their tests on it, they basically sent me a text message saying,
We want more money.
now this was because they called me and they said that the hardware of the control module was actually faulty. So it wasn't just a simple case of clearing fault codes. So they supplied me the donor module for £88.80. And apparently the hardware in this one's good. And they have also cloned all the data from my old one to my new one. So this should work. Let's go downstairs, plug it in, and I just swore at you there. Sorry, didn't mean to. Although, Jeremy, you're a bit of a prick. Let's go downstairs and get this installed.
Now this right here is a very, very big moment for the Audi TT, because when we actually reconnect the battery, we might have an airbag to our face, which is mint. If that airbag light is gone, we would have done everything that made this car fail on its most recent MOT. So if this airbag light is gone, we can book this car in for its MOT to get back on road Ooh. Because to think that I've had this car now almost 3 weeks and not drove it is absolutely insane. So I've just got to open up the boot, reconnect the battery and pray that no airbags go off. Let's... Oh mate, the airbag light's still on. Am I gonna have to reset that? This, if I reset that code and it stays on, I've just wasted 180 quid. Right here, we're actually going to reset the airbag light. So what it wants us to do is turn the engine off, put the ignition on, and then clear the data. So hopefully... Oh! Wait! Hold on a second. We've just cleared the code on here, and there's no more airbag light. Have we just saved the day? Have we just saved the day? Have we just saved the day? Oh my God, there's no airbag light! Wait! I don't believe it! I don't believe it! There's no airbag light. There's no airbag light. There's no engine light. Do you know what? As bad as it sounds, I'm just waiting for them to pop back up. Come on! Yes! I don't want to get too excited, right? I don't want to get too excited. Oh! Mate, I can already feel, I can already imagine, I'm manifesting myself right now getting a Taco Bell.
And there we actually have it, lads. All of the failures addressed for this Mark 1 Audi TT, which brings us one step closer to getting this back on road and enjoying that beautiful, beautiful V6 engine. So it is actually the day where we get this Audi TT back on road, hopefully. It's got its first MOT in possibly, I think, 3 months it's been off road. We have done every single failure from lower control arm, airbag, and the headlights. And that was all the failures. Look at that. Not long ago, we got this. Draw an arrow there. Not long ago, we actually got this Volkswagen Golf back on road. And now this baby is coming. I'm actually excited because this is the first drive I'm going to have, Mum, in a V6. Gassed. Can't wait to rag it up the road. Quattro system, 250 brake horsepower, V6, 3.2 litre. Oh, first step is petrol station, but... First stop though is a petrol station because we are very, very low. But in true the OtherStuff fashion, without even leaving the driveway, I ran into a problem. And it was self-inflicted. What a sausage I am. I've locked the flipping seatbelt underneath here. So I've just got to yank this up and... Am I an idiot? Am I an idiot? Right, after fighting with the seatbelt, we've actually got it. Jeez, look at my hands now. I can't believe I was going to go for an MOT and I didn't even check the flipping seatbelts. This is always the scariest point of any car restoration because this is the first drive I take the car on and that's when problems pop up. You know, you'll hear like a knocking that you didn't know was there before because I've never taken it out. It will overheat because I've never taken it past operating temperature. But so far, so good. I mean, I've taken it like 0.1 miles down the road. Wow. This car hasn't even been on road for more than 10 minutes and we're already at a petrol station. Something I found out just from driving to the petrol station, which is like a 2-minute drive from my house. It's definitely got a fat exhaust leak, which could make the car fail on emissions, which is not good. Because like, I don't know if you can hear, but that's a fatty exhaust leak. Listen to that. It was fine at the start, and then it just got louder. Listen to that, holy shit. And on the right is actually the turning for the MOT centre. But we're going straight on because a warning light has popped up on the dash. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. Right, we have had a bit of a mare. We've got a light on the dash right now. Don't know what it is. And an exhaust blow, which is probably going to be a failure. But of course I didn't know that until we drove the car. Now, it is fair to say I felt very, very defeated at this point. All of that hard work over the past couple of weeks to get this car back on road, and we're already looking at 2 failures. So I had literally no other choice but to send the car in for an MOT anyway. Oh. It's bad, isn't it? There you go. That's a pass and a half. Oh my god. See why is it literally that exhaust? Oh my god. Why is that exhaust just started blowing today? Literally, how many times have I started the car and it sounded perfect? And now it's gone for an MOT. Started blowing. Now, for anyone who's not familiar, an MOT is an annual safety and emission check to make sure your car is roadworthy and safe. If a car fails or runs out of an MOT, it is illegal to drive on the UK roads. Now, just like the previous 4 abandoned cars we've brought here, we've got Joey, the MOT tester, checking over the car, and he's already found one issue.
Yeah, so what you've got there is you've got a leak between the 2 lambda readings.
Oh yeah.
So you've got a lambda there,
yeah,
maybe one further up. So obviously it's sucking in air here, making that there. That, do you know what that is? I'll show you. The way it's doing that. Typical Audi thing.
Oh yeah.
And BMW. See, the bolts have disappeared.
Oh,
the nuts have rusted off.
Yeah.
And then it just separates open.
Yeah.
And rusts.
Oh, oh, so that's basically not sealed at all?
No.
So as a temporary repair, somebody has covered this exhaust leak in exhaust putty. After a 5-minute drive, we've just blew it completely out, and that's why we've got our exhaust leak.
You know when you've got that failure when your headlight's too high?
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be this, look.
Oh. Oh.
You're welcome.
Is that why?
That's your headlight level. So basically, when you've got a heavy load in the back, it sits back and then it levels your headlights automatically. But if you've got, but if it's braked, it just sits in a certain position. So this little mechanism up here is stuck up, so your headlights are just going upwards. And it wasn't long until he discovered another problem: a leak coming from the driver's side engine.
Fuck, I don't even want to get into the car again, man. I fucking hate it. So before not too long, the MOT test was completed. And here are the results.
Go on, so how was the MOT test results?
Right, so it is going to fail, unfortunately, mate. Oh. It is going to be.
I'll just walk out.
Ta-da! Lambda reading's too high, you've got the exhaust leak. And that's pretty much from that. I think because it's between your 2 cats, you're getting that leak, that uneven reading between the 2. Mm-hmm. You've got a power steering leak. Think it might be that front right hose. If you look up through that right wheel arch, you'll see where it's dripping down from. And obviously you got that management light, and with the ABS fault. It's not horrendous.
Nah.
You just got some.
I mean, that was a long list. That was longer than the shopping list, mate.
Alright then guys, so unfortunately we do have the paper of doom which tells us that this Audi TT has actually failed its MOT. Which is honestly a bit ridiculous because we fixed the 4 failures from the previous MOT and we've come out with 4 new failures which are completely unrelated to the previous failures. But there is a power steering fluid leak on the driver's side, which is quite bad. I think you can actually see it leaking right now, to be honest. Don't know if you can see, but there's actually little leaks right there, which we think is power steering fluid. So either way, there is a leak on the front driver's side. So now it's quite simply time to get all those failures fixed, and then we can finally grab this piece of paper and use it as fucking toilet roll. So I can finally get this car back on road. Piece of shit. Fucking Rabona kick you, you bastard. At this point, I was a strand of hair away from burning this car to the ground. Imagine completing all your homework just to hand it in and get more homework. But I got straight under the car and started working on the exhaust. Firstly by scraping off all that exhaust putty and then grinded off any leftover nuts which were holding the exhaust on so we could take it off and repair it off the car. Smooth. So to repair this is quite simple. We're going to be using a new exhaust gasket and new nuts and bolts. This kit right here cost me £14, which is a relatively cheap and easy fix. But not before hitting out the old bolts that are rust welded in place. With the old bolts removed, we could then get this exhaust back into place and screw in our new nuts and bolts, which will properly clamp down the separate exhaust pieces together so there are no more leaks. New nuts and bolts shining away, and fingers crossed that has actually passed us on emissions for the retest, because it's no longer dragging in air through that little gap that we've hopefully sealed now. Now we are absolutely whizzing through these MOT failures because for the retest you only have 10 days to bring it back to them, where instead of doing a full inspection they'll just inspect the items that failed. And for my particular garage it's a free retest, so if we don't manage to fix it in 10 days for some reason, we have to go for a full inspection and pay for it. The reason why we're taking off the front bumper and headlights is to inspect this. Now, believe it or not, this isn't a brown turd. It's not a boat at the bottom of the sea that's rusted. It's actually a low-pressure power steering line that has literally been rusted and corroded so badly, it is now pissing out power steering fluid, which has caused us to fail our MOT. Now, there are two sides to the power steering, a high pressure line and a low pressure line. And luckily for us, this is the low pressure line. Now, some of you guys definitely won't approve of this repair. However, a full power steering hose will cost me around £120 and probably about a good day's labor. However, this repair that I'm doing will cost me no more than £20. Now, the way we're going to be actually fixing this little problem right here in a very cheap way for £20 is by using this stuff right here, which is actually a power steering hose, quite simply. And this stuff right here cost me £20. And we've also got some Halford's Jubilee clip. If you can't work out what we're going to be doing right here, well, honestly, you need to go back to fucking school, mate. And like, that's saying something coming from me because I'm Now, this definitely isn't an Audi approved repair. However, it is a Barclays overdraft approved repair. I would love to hear what you guys think of the repair. I don't think that this is too cowboy considering there was a silicone pipe at the bottom anyway. So all we're doing is extending it up to the contaminated rusty metal. And for some people, they might not have all the time in the world to change out the whole power steering line, or they might not have the funds to change out the whole line for a replacement. So this might be their only option. But we lost a lot of fluid from that leak. So quite simply, it was time to top up the power steering fluid and bleed the system by quite simply turning the wheel left and right while the car's on to burp out all the air bubbles and then topping it up and then repeating this over and over again until there's no more air in the system. Bosh! Now, when this car gets back on the ground, it will be ready for its MOT retest. Let's go! Now, very, very typically of this Audi TT, we got it back on the ground. I literally just addressed the second round of failures, and when I start the car, we've got a check engine light. We have a check engine light on the dash, and if I throw my car into an MOT retest with a check engine light, it is going to fail anyway. And using my little CARISTA device, I scanned it, and it actually turns out to be bank 1 sensor 2 fault. I changed bank 2 sensor 2, and now it wants me to change bank 1 sensor 2. This is why they tell you to replace things in pairs, because once one side goes, the other side is not long on its way out. And it just so happens that when I change one, the next one fucking... You know, at this point, I'm thinking somebody is spinning round a candle in their bedroom with a blanket over their head, casting fucking voodoo spells on me. I can't fucking believe it! And this is the worst bit as well. I ordered a sensor for next day delivery. Has it arrived? Fuck no. 3 days later, this sensor turned up, which actually caused some extremely bad news, which you'll find out at the end of today's video. But quite simply, we've got the new sensor screwed in place, and then we raised the exhaust back up, got it all tightened up yet again for the second time, and hopefully this new sensor has fixed that engine light, and we can finally get the car through an MOT. Now, my main goal for this video was to get this Audi TT through an MOT. And I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. And I'm gonna have to start off with the good news or else I'm gonna go mentally insane. Right, starting off with the good news. If we actually start the car, wait for it. If we actually start the car, we have cleared every single light on the dash, even the parking brake. We've actually done a parking brake delete. I'm joking, it's just not activated, there you go. What an absolute achievement it has been to clear every single warning light off the dash. Because when it came to me a couple weeks ago, it had airbag light on the dash, engine light on the dash, and recently it's just had an ABS light on the dash as well, which is just throws a spanner in the works, doesn't it? But we have cleared every single motherfucking light on the dash. And luckily that O2 sensor we just replaced has cleared that engine light. Now, I swore to myself that I wouldn't post this video until this Audi TT was passed through an MOT. And I can confirm, I let you guys down and failed in my goal. Now, from the very first bolt I touched on this car, it caused me problems. The first 2 bolts I touched snapped. And genuinely, everything that could have gone wrong with this car went wrong times 2. I mean, we're talking airbag control module. It wasn't just a simple software reset. It was a complete module replacement needed because somehow the hardware got fried, which caused delays, more finances needed to get the car back on road, and more headache. And even after fixing the 4 failures that this car had when it came to me, we came up with 4 brand new ones. And the most recent problem I've had with the car is parts not turning up. Parts for this car are very, very, very specific. Now, this being a 22-year-old car, Audi themselves have stopped making certain parts for this car. Most motor factors do not supply parts for this car either. These brake calipers on the front here, I had to replace this, which cost me £300. Because they are the R32 brakes, the 2 parts, you can't just pick them up at GSF car parts. These ones right here are actually £300 for used refurbished ones. Now, I actually had an MOT retest booked yesterday at 4 PM and today's actually Saturday. And luckily for me, the garage that I use for MOTs aren't even open on a Saturday. And we would have actually got this car through an MOT if this auction sensor turned up on time. I ordered this motherfucker Wednesday. I begged the seller to get it to me next day delivery. And what day does it turn up? Saturday, today. Mate, someone's casting fucking voodoo spells on me and it's actually pissing me off, so please stop. So basically what I'm telling you guys is, unfortunately, in today's video, we didn't manage to get it through an MOT. But in the next one,
Maybe, just maybe.
I genuinely, highly apologise to all of you lot for not being able to get this car through an MOT in today's video. It's just so many curveballs were thrown at me. It is unreal. So this is where I actually leave you guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button because in the next video, we will 100% get this through an MOT unless it decides to throw me yet again another curveball. And also follow me on Instagram at @_OtherStuff where I give you guys live updates throughout the day on what I'm doing with this Audi TT. And if you guys send me a picture of your holy order using my discount code, I'm going to give you guys an instant follow back. Click the link in the description to get yours today. Cheeky shameless plug at the end. Yet again, so sorry I didn't get it for an MOT. But hopefully, next video, it'll be back on road. See you guys in the next one. Bye.